if ever there was a strongly research-supported tool in the literature, in the peer-reviewed literature about how students can learn information better, it's testing. I know. We think of tests as a way to evaluate our knowledge, but it turns out that testing is one of the best ways to build our knowledge, to retain our knowledge, and again, to offset forgetting. The study of testing as a learning tool, not just as a way to evaluate how much information we've learned, goes back over 100 years. There's a classic study that was done in 1917 where grade school age children read biographies. So they read biographies, and then the kids were divided into different groups. One group read and reread those biographies over and over. Another group read the biographies once and then were tested on those biographies. But get this, they tested themselves on those biographies simply by having to think about the information that they had read and trying to remember the information. Like, what was the biography? Who was the person? Who were they married to? What did they do? When did they go to school? What did they do in school? What did they do in the world? What role did they play in life? So they essentially tested their own knowledge simply by going into their own head and asking themselves what they could remember about those biographies. Now, keep in mind here that even though it's fairly apparent that reading a biography 2, 3, 4 times might seem more passive than testing oneself on a biography that they had read just once, right? You could imagine that thinking about the biography involves more effort, and indeed it does. But keep in mind also that kids in the second group were only exposed to the biography once. And yet, when you look at the percent of accurate recall of information from those biographies, the children that read the biography once and then made a deliberate point to think about that biography in their own mind to effectively test themselves on that material, just within their heads over and over, vastly outperformed the kids that read the biographies over and over. Put differently, reading and rereading material and rereading material is far less effective than reading material and then thinking about that material. Testing yourself on that material, forcing yourself to bring that material to mind in your own mind, and